What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are here to review this latest Arrow Video 4K release of Narc, directed by Joe Carnahan. We're going to discuss all things Narc today. This was a first-time watch for me. We're going to talk about the movie, the transfer, the audio, the special features. We're going to do a little unboxing of this special collector's edition set. I've had this for almost a month now. I'm just now getting around to reviewing it. But it actually comes out this week on May the 21st. So I'm going to have this out like right in time for you guys to check out, see if you want to pick it up. This release, this 4K is going for $35, $34.99. Amazon finally dropped the price. This thing was like 50 bucks at one point. They dropped the price to $34.99. There's also a Blu-ray edition as well. I'm going to be talking about the 4K release today, but there is a Blu-ray edition that Arrow dropped as well. Let's talk about Narc. This is written and directed by Joe Carnahan. I don't know his filmography too well or how many films he's directed, but he also wrote and directed Smoking Aces, which also got a 4K release recently, I think within the past like 2 or 3 years. I actually didn't get that, and I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I do remember enjoying that film when it came out. So he did that movie, and he's done Narc. I actually think he did Narc before Smoking Aces. I think that was back in 2006. But this is a movie that when I'm looking at the poster of it, the original poster art, I remember seeing this on the video store shelves back in the day, but there was a time in my life where I wasn't like a huge fan of like crime thrillers or movies like this. There were certain ones that I watched for sure, but like I didn't gravitate towards those kind of films. So I kind of saw the cover for this, and it's a very distinct poster artwork. Like it kind of draws you in. You got Ray Liotta on the front, just looking all like stoic and mysterious, and you got Jason Patric behind him. So it drew me in, but not enough to actually get it and watch it. But so I never got to see this movie back in the day, because now I'm just experiencing all different types of films. I'm just into everything. So I was curious to check this one out, because I feel like it got quite a bit of hype when it was announced by Arrow Video. And what I will say, I like this film. I enjoyed it. It's a nice, smooth, slick little crime thriller that does move at a good pace. And it doesn't overstay its welcome, I feel like. But to me, it's not like, it doesn't achieve that, like, and I don't feel like anybody really said this, but it's not like one of the best crime thrillers I've ever seen. It's not up there with like Goodfellas or even Training Day. It's not up there. I was kind of hoping that it would be close to Training Day, because it did come out in the same era and kind of has that similar aesthetic and vibe to it when you're watching it, but it doesn't quite reach that status. But it's a perfectly enjoyable crime thriller with some good characters and some good performances. I think that, Jason Patric, who I haven't really seen in a ton outside the Lost Boys, he's probably been in some other stuff I've seen. I just didn't really notice or pay attention. But like, I think he's really good in the movie. I think that his character has a lot to do. Like, there's a lot of emotional moments and beats to his character and what he has to go through with his wife, and just the fact that he's a past like narcotics agent that kind of gets out, trying to get out of the game. His wife wants him to get out, but he gets pulled back in. So there's like conflict there, domestic conflict between him and his wife, and there's a baby involved. There's a lot of arguing. I will say at some points it does feel like it gets a little bit too over dramatic in those parts, but he gives a really good performance in the movie. I did enjoy him, but he is really the side piece to me as far as a character. He's the lead character for sure, but I feel like Ray Liotta, because of how strong of an actor that he is, kind of steals the show away from Jason Patric a little bit, because he's just a seasoned veteran when it comes to these type of movies. And I imagine that Joe Carnahan knew that when he cast him. He's like, if we want any kind of like credibility to our film as a crime film, like we got to cast Ray Liotta, who is just hot at this point in time in his career. So I think that Ray Liotta is excellent in this movie. He has to deliver like a monologue about his wife that recently passed away. And Joe Carnahan talks about it in one of the special features, which we'll get into. And it goes on for like 5 to 10 minutes, but it's very compelling and you're just really drawn into it. And it's just an overall really strong performance by Ray Liotta in this movie. And I mean, I've never really seen Ray Liotta give a bad performance, if I'm being honest. Like maybe Cocaine Bear, but like even in that movie, he's great. So, but that being said, I do feel like without Ray Liotta, this would be pretty mid-tier as far as a crime thriller, and it might even borderline on just not being that good at all. I think Ray Liotta actually does a lot for this film in elevating its status. So another thing this movie did that I liked is it gives you the impression that it's going in a certain direction. I'm not going to give any kind of spoilers or anything, guys, to this movie. It gives you an indication that it's going in a particular direction. And when you get to the ends, it feels like it's going there, and then it goes in a completely different direction. And I liked that. I liked that it kind of sets you up for a certain like expectation, a level of expectation for what's going to happen. And then it just completely pulls the rug out from under you and gives you something different. But it's not in a bad way. It's actually in a way that you're like, oh, I'm glad that you did that, because otherwise I would have saw this ending coming a mile away. So I did appreciate that, how the movie gave me not really a twist, but just kind of a turn on my expectations. It did something that was outside of the cliches of this particular film and the genre. But other than that, guys, it's a good movie. I liked it. It was elevated by the performances and by the characters. But other than that, it's really just a standard like police procedural throughout, with some good action in it as well. There is some good gunplay and some action set pieces, but it's not really played to be fun. It's all just kind of filmed and structured to be very dramatic and to definitely have weight to it and emotional stakes for sure. But I enjoyed Narc a lot. I thought it was a good movie, just not a great movie. Now getting into the 4K transfer here, this is a native 4K restoration that was supervised by the director Joe Carnahan. He actually has an intro where he's thanking Arrow Video for allowing him to work on his film and doing this for him, which I thought was pretty cool. It's about a 10-15 second intro. Some director intros will be like a minute, 2 minutes, but Joe Carnahan's like short and to the point. It's like 10 seconds and then we get into the film. And this has Dolby Vision, it has HDR10. And I thought it looked really good. I thought Arrow Video did a really great job restoring this film. It's a really nice, neat, sharp 4K restoration. Now, this is my first time watching the movie. I haven't seen it on streaming. I don't know what the past Blu-ray release looked like. But this, I have to imagine, is the best the film has ever looked. And because Joe Carnahan actually worked on it, was able to properly restore the film, that's always a plus for sure when you have the filmmaker allowed to come back and actually work and restore his own film. Unless it's James Cameron, then it's not always a positive. But for most directors, it is a positive. But just a really nice, solid restoration. You know, you have the HDR. It's a very gloomy film. It's a very like dreary, drab film, but the HDR does bring a lot of vibrancy to those gloomy colors, if that makes any sense. Everything looks really heightened and really visually stunning just all throughout, as far as the colors and just the textures and the detail and the contrast level. Everything looks really dense. There's a lot of depth to the picture quality, and I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really nice transfer, and I can't imagine that anybody that likes this movie and has enjoyed this movie on DVD and Blu-ray won't enjoy this 4K restoration, because I thought it was absolutely stunning. So nothing to really worry about. If you're a fan of Narc, if you really like this movie, then this is totally worth it based on that 4K restoration. Now, one thing I will note, because this has been somewhat of an issue for some people, I know Once Upon a Time in the West recently, but the 4K was on a 66 gigabyte disc, but there are 2 discs in here. So they don't cram that disc with special features. Just the movie is on the 4K disc, which I'm not exactly sure why Arrow Video made that decision, because on other stuff that they've done, they'll use the 100 gigabyte disc and then they'll add the special features to it. I think Last House on the Left they did that way, but for this, they had the 2 discs. They had the 4K disc with the movie on it that is 66 gigabytes, and then you have the Blu-ray with the special features that's 50 gigabytes there. So not exactly sure why they didn't combine them, but because this movie's about 100 minutes, I don't think that there's any compression issues. It's still really good as far as the picture quality is concerned. So I don't think there's really too much to worry about with that. Now, again, I know we complained about it recently on other releases, so it kind of feels weird to not complain about it with this. But with Once Upon a Time in the West, it was a 3-hour movie that should have been on a 100 gigabyte disc, and this is 100 minutes. And I think this is probably perfectly fine on a 66 gigabyte disc. So I definitely didn't notice anything as far as the restoration and it lacking any kind of clarity. I thought everything looked great. Now, getting into the sound, guys, you do have Dolby Atmos with this release, and you have Dolby True HD 7.1. You have the DTS HD Master Audio 2.0, so you can choose between the two, Dolby Atmos 7.1 or the DTS HD Master Audio 2.0. I listened to it mostly with the Dolby Atmos, and I thought it sounded absolutely excellent. Now, I just have the soundbar that kind of simulates that Dolby Atmos. I don't have that full setup, but like there's tons of like sequences of shootouts and tons of gunplay in this. Some nice like car chase sequences as well that sound great. And I compared it to Training Day a little bit ago, and it kind of does remind me of Training Day, how that Atmos sounded with that release. And I would compare it to this as well. Just a lot of moments with gunplay and just some really cool sequences that I think that Atmos definitely improves for sure. So really cool that Arrow Video included that with this release. I know people that have that full sound setup will definitely be satisfied with that for sure. Now getting into the unboxing, I'll go ahead and show off this slipcover right here. I can't say that I am completely in love with this artwork. I think it's okay, but I just like the original poster so much, and I don't think that this really gives off the same vibes as that original poster does. I do think it's good. I don't know. It's something about the font of Narc. I just don't love how the font is, but I just don't like the colors on it. And I know it's supposed to be like graffiti style, but I don't know, guys. Let me know if you like that artwork in the comment section. I think it's okay. But you got the spine right there. On the back right there, I'll go ahead and show this for you guys. I'll zoom in so you guys can check out the synopsis of the film. And you got the 4K, the disc 1, the disc 2, all the special features included, which we'll get into in a second. You got the casting list and all the specs down there at the bottom. Go ahead and take it out of the slipcover. And right there, guys, you got the classic Arrow Video 4K case. Go ahead and open this up. And we do have 2 discs here. Like I said, you got the 4K and then you got the Blu-ray, which I actually have in the player right back there. But the Blu-ray only has the special features. It does not have the film. So you do not have the film on Blu-ray here. You just have the film on 4K. And then inside, guys, we have a nice little poster, double-sided poster, which is the Arrow Video standard. And then we'll flip to the back. And yet, no, that is not the same font. So yeah, I just like this poster a lot. I just think it's really cool. And I don't think that the Arrow Video artwork just matches that vibe. So, but we'll put that to the side. You got a booklet in here as well, with some good information about the movie and also the restoration as well. So really cool. Nice little writings about the film inside here. That is really cool if you're interested in just diving deep and learning more about this film. And we'll go ahead and do the reversible artwork right here. And it's just the original poster, which is definitely cool. Bam, bam. Bam. And also this film was licensed by Paramount right there. You see the Paramount logo, which again just highlights how great Paramount is. I just love Paramount. The fact that they license out these lesser known films to these boutique labels to give them the spotlight they deserve. I just think it's super cool. But getting into the special features themselves, guys, you do have Shattering the Blue Line. Just tons of great special features here. A newly filmed interview with writer-director Joe Carnahan. You have Shooting Narc, a new video essay on the look of Narc, featuring an interview with the director of photography, Alex Nepo. I can't even pronounce it. Alex N. That's what we'll say. If You Live Another Day, a newly filmed interview with actor Krista Bridges, which I think that's about the longest interview of the 3. And she gives a really good interview. Like, you can just tell that she's really thankful that she was given this role and just appreciative of her time on this film. And it's cool that she came back to talk about this film. So, and then you have The Journey of the Costume, a newly filmed interview with costume designer Gersha Phillips. So it's 4 brand new special features here that totals about an hour. So an hour of new special features. You also have some archival stuff as well, Making the Deal, the vintage promotional featurette looking at the making of the film, The Visual Trip, a vintage promotional featurette looking at the visual style of the film. So tons of good, archival content as well. The Freakin' Connection, a vintage promotional featurette interviewing William Freakin and discussing the connections between his body of work and Narc. That has to, I didn't even know that was in there. I need to go back and check that out. William Freakin talking about this movie, which is definitely super cool. Which, look, guys, you can definitely, it's nowhere near like one of the great Freakin films like To Live and Die in LA or Cruisin' or The French Connection. I imagine I still haven't seen The French Connection, but nowhere near the level of that in terms of quality. But I do see the similarities there in terms of like just vibe and overall like aesthetic and visual appeal of the film. So lots of great stuff here, guys. Archival stuff, new interviews and video essays. And yeah, Arrow Video, guys, they put a lot of work into these releases. And even though I wasn't in love with the movie itself, I still recommend this release. I think it's a really solid release. You can get it for $34.99. And they just do a really good job at these releases, guys. Now, if you're a fan of this film, you're definitely going to want this because this is the ultimate Narc edition. There will probably be no better edition of Narc that comes out. So thank you all so much for watching my review. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you feel about the film Narc. If you're going to get the 4K in the comment section below, turn on those bell notifications for all future videos and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.